Hey guys, I wanted to make sure that you understood how to do all of the things on the Thursday DMR since we won't be having any DMR groups and I won't be here to help you. So go ahead and keep watching this whole video if you want me to go through the entire DMR, or you can sort of fast forward and skip to the parts where you have questions. Alright, because I'm going to start with number sense and end up in problem solving. So if you take a look in the number sense box, compare the following numbers. Remember, the first thing we like to do is to locate the decimal. And after I locate the decimal, I notice that now I'm comparing 0 and 8. And suddenly it becomes very clear to me that 8 and 7/10 is bigger than 878 10,000ths. Same thing with this next one. I'm going to find the decimal first. This one seems a little bit trickier. I've got 6 and I've got 006. But I'm not going to be fooled by these extra zeros because you know if you put zeros in front of a number like that, it doesn't really make a difference. So now I'm starting with 6. So far, those are the same. My decimal's in the same spot. I've got the number 5 over here, the number 5 over here. Well, that's the same. 4 over here, 4 over here in the hundredths. 5 in the 10,000ths, or in the thousandths, sorry. 5 in the thousandths. Oh my gosh. So far those are the same numbers, and now all I have are all these zeros after, and I know that those zeros don't mean anything because I could give these two zeros too. So I've just figured out that these two numbers are equal. 6 and 545 thousandths. If I go on to the computation box and I look for the greatest common factor, maybe right off the top of your head you already know that, and that's great. But we're going to start from the beginning, and I'm going to figure out all the different ways that I can make 32. 1 and 32, 2 and 16, 4 and 8, and I think that's it. Can't think of I know 3 doesn't go in, and I know 5 doesn't go in because it doesn't end in a 0 or a 5. So now I need to come up with the greatest common or the factors of 40. 1, 40, 2, 20, 4, 10, 5, 8. So now I'm trying to find the biggest one they have in common. They both have 1 in common, 2, 4, 8. Looks like 8 is where I stop. So the greatest common factor here is 8. Now I need to do my multiplication. 219 and 5/10 times 31 hundredths. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. My placeholder 0. 3 times 5 is 15, put my 5, carry my 1. 3 times 9 is 27, plus 1 is 28, put my 8, carry my 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. 3 times 2 is 6. Now I just need to add them. 5 plus 0 is 5. 9 plus 5 is 14, put my 4, carry my 1. 8, 9, 10, put my 0, carry my 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then bring down my 6. Now I know I have to have some decimals, so I have to figure out where those go. In my original problem, I've got 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. And so my answer is 68 and 45 thousandths. And if you've done this and you didn't get it correct, you know what I always say. Go back and track down your mistake. Did you have the first line right? Did you have the second line right? Where did you go wrong? All right, let's take a look over here. 2045 minus p equals 435. So we've talked about there are a couple of different ways that you can solve this. My preferred method is to subtract 435 from 2045. To make sure that I borrow So my answer is 1,610. And if I don't believe that that's my answer, I've got two different ways I can check it. So I'm going to check it by saying 1610 plus 435, and that should equal, yep, 2,045. So I know I did it correctly. 11y plus 43 equals x when y equals 12. So I know that 11y is actually 11 times y plus 43. 11 times 12 plus 43. So then I come over to the side and I do 11 times 12. This might be a fact that you actually know, because you're supposed to know your math facts from 0 to 12. So 11 times 12 is actually 132. So now I need to take 132 and add 43. And I know that 132 plus 43 is 175. You know that we just started looking at congruent figures this week, but I think you should start by answering the question, how do you know that they are congruent? Because if they're congruent, they're the same shape and the same size. And now I need to find the two shapes that are the same shape and the same size. So that would be these two. Okay? Measurement box. Find the area of the triangle. You know how to find the area of the triangle. There's three different ways you can do it. You can take the half when you finish multiplying, or you can take the half of the base, or you can take the half of the height. Okay? I'm going to take half of the base. So I'm going to take half of 40 times 25. Half of 40 I know is 20 times 25. And I could actually do this in my head because I know we've been working on cluster problems and starter problems and you all hate that. But honestly, I can do this in my head because I know 25 times 10 would be 250 and I would just need two more than that, which would be 500. But I'm going to go ahead and do the math over here. So I do get 500 inches squared. And the last problem says showers on Monday morning produced about half inches of rain by noon. By 6 p.m., a total of 2 inches of rain had fallen. How many inches of rain fell between noon and 6 p.m.? Okay. So at noon, I had a half an inch. Then by 6 p.m., I had 2 inches. So what I'm trying to figure out is what happened in this space. What happened between noon and 6? So what I really need to do is figure out how do I get from 1/2 to 2? And there's lots of different ways I can do that, but I'm going to say what's 2 minus 1/2, and you might be thinking, Miss F, I don't know how to do that with fractions, or I might say 2 minus 0.5, and some of you might say, well, Miss F, I'm really not very good at decimals either. Well, that's not true, because I'm sure you can figure it out. But I think with this one, you might not even need to do that, because if you know your halves, you know it takes 2 halves to equal 1, and it takes 4 halves to equal 2. So you started here, and you ended up here, so you know that that's 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1, plus 1/2 is 1.5. So my answer is 1.5. You could probably do that on your fingers. You could probably solve that problem a lot of different ways. There's no reason to make it unnecessarily complicated. So if you end up with any questions about this, go back over and take a look at the answer key and take a look at the other days that we've worked on it. And don't forget to study for your quiz tomorrow.